Good morning.
Good morning. So this is Sonal Patil, and I'm hereby going to discuss the things about feedback, because feedback is the most important part of our academics, right? Because we want to know that we are going on the right path, where is the improvement needed, what is the expectation from student side, and for all that purpose there is the necessity of interaction and feedback. So that is the my main topic, that is students feedback. When students want best practice, analysis and improvement, all these things will be covered by me in the today's session. So the first part means the contents cover will be what is feedback, feedback rules, the best practices, feedback that we should follow 3W, when, where and why, as well as 3P, that is pause, prompt and praise. Then feedback, role of feedback in outcome based education, and analysis and improvement strategies. All these things will be covered in the today's session. So first of all, what is feedback? So feedback is nothing but the information about performance or behavior that leads to action to affirm or develop that performance or behavior. So definitely, as we are dealing with the academic session, two parts are very important, that is performance, that is nothing but how we are teaching and how students are getting from our knowledge, that is nothing but our performance, and behavior is nothing but, as everyone knows, that the teacher plays a vital role as a teacher as well as mentor, and that's why the behavior part is also important in feedback, and that's why it is the information about our performance and behavior. So the importance of feedback is why we used to take the feedback. So feedback is necessary because it can improve our performance. Definitely, as we know, every human being is a non-stop, he is a learner, he is a lifelong learner, and for that process we need the improvement, and that's why feedback plays the vital role. It provides the opportunities to close the gap between current and desired performance. Definitely, whatever performance I am giving right now, that is not the desired performance according to student side, and that's why it is the opportunity to close the gap between our performance and the students' desired performance. Feedback can motivate, absolutely. Whenever, if I am getting the good feedback that whatever path I am going on, if that path is correct, if students are getting whatever I am teaching or whatever facilities are provided by the college, if that are good and that is motivated by the students, then that is the appreciable thing, that is the importance of feedback. It is a tool of continued learning, because as we used to get the feedback twice in a semester, so definitely it is a continued process, because we used to get many inputs from our student side, and that's why it is the continued learning. And feedback is always there. Yes, rating, review, all the parts are nothing but feedback, and definitely that's the important part of feedback, because in every aspect it is necessary and it is always there. So the conditions necessary for the implementation of feedback is, from students to benefit from the feedback, students must possess a concept of goal or reference level being aimed for. So actually I am going to tell about the feedback, that is academic, administrative. The academic and administrative parts come under the direct attainment, and in indirect attainment comes the alumni, employer survey, then student exit survey, everything. So it is very necessary, the whatever feedback we are getting, or the student should have the concept of goal, they should be aimed of something. Then we have to compare the current level of performance with the standard level. Only then the feedback is important, or the feedback will be fruitful. And we have to engage in appropriate action which will lead to come the closure of the gap. Why we are getting the feedback? Why we are taking the feedback? We are not taking any feedback only for the part of curriculum, or it is just a formality part, but we are collecting the feedback so that we can improve ourselves and we can close the gap between the students expectation and the actual things. So that's why it is important to have the feedback. That is the main thing, main conditions of feedback. Now, good feedback practices are facilitates the development of self-assessment in learning. So, self-assessment is a very good practice. It encourages the teacher, definitely as I said, it motivates us. It helps to clarify what good performance is. Because according to me, the good performance is different, and according to students, their expectations are different. So, we used to get the clarification from the feedback things. Now there are some feedback rules, right? The feedback descriptive, non-judgmental, based on behavior, not personality, selective and specific. So now descriptive means what? I will share one feedback from our college. So as we used to get the feedback from students, my screen is visible to everyone. Hello.
Yes, yes, madam.
Yes, so this is the descriptive type of feedback in which almost 10 parameters are there, that the teachers are using Blackboard effectively or not. Teachers, the pronunciation fluency and the objectives are clear or not. Teacher is well prepared or not. He ends with summary or not. Then the interaction part of teacher, he collects the exam oriented questions or not. He is about his punctuality, engaging the extra classes, usage of ICT tools, then practical and evaluation journals, and overall treatment is caring like parent or not. So these are the parameters on which we used to take the feedback from the students. That is the selective, that is the descriptive type of feedback in which we used to take the feedback from students where they used to give the marking, and according to that marking we used to find out the particular feedback like this. So this is the type of descriptive feedback. Then the feedback should be non-judgmental. It should be non-judgmental because the feedback should be about our performance. It should contain the positive as well as some improved statements. That is why it is non-judgmental. It should be based on behavior, not on the personality. As we are dealing with students, so the feedback they are giving us, that should be on our behavior with them. In spite of that, that should be not on our personality. That is the important rule of feedback. It should be selective. It should be selective means, as I have shared one format with you, only that parameters are necessary, so that parameters are required, that is selective. And it should be specific. Now it is necessary because to have the specific feedback. Why? Because suppose I have gone through one superb speech and I have praised like, wow, you have given the excellent speech. And in spite of that, if I am saying you have given the speech and that was really great, so these two statements, they differs a lot. The first one is, wow, excellent speech. That will be always in the mind of the speaker. But the second statement, that is very descriptive. Wow, you have given a speech and that was very great. No one will remember that. And that's why it is necessary to give the specific feedback containing the words that will express the students' expectations. That's why it is necessary to have the specific feedback. Now the feedback formats are written, verbal, computer and checklist. Written means, as I have shared the particular format, so students used to give us rating in the writing section, that is the written feedback. Verbal means it's the interaction process with students when we are dealing with them. So in verbal communication or in verbal feedback, we used to get in the non-formal way, that is the verbal feedback. Computer feedback means we used to give them Google form or any sheet, and according to that they will be submitting the feedback. And checklist, in spite of descriptive, they have to only click on the parameters which they are filling. That is the one type of feedback. So the one part which I want to cover is that when, where and why. So it is necessary to check these three W's. Now when, definitely we should collect the feedback only when the particular work is started or it's about to end. It's, we cannot take feedback before our lecture. Definitely everyone knows that, and that's why it is necessary to find out the exact time when we should take the feedback. right? So according to me, the feedback, or according to generalize whatever knowledge I have gained, we should take the feedback before our first internal assessment, because we used to take the internal assessment after 2 and 2.5 units. Definitely that means students know our performance, right? Because if they want to give the feedback, definitely they should know कि they cannot judge us, or they cannot assess on 1 or 2 lectures. So after 2.5 units, they are familiar with our performance, and only after that we can take the feedback. And why I have not said after IAC 1, because we know our students. If any particular question paper is tough, it's not student, it's the mistake of the faculty member that he have taken the tough question, and maybe some students used to get used to reflect that things in the feedback process. That is the wrong scenario. That's why it is necessary to have the feedback before your IAC 1, because some part is covered and we will get the positive feedback, as well as the second feedback can be taken in before your submissions. So according to that, it is necessary to take feedback twice. Why it is necessary to take feedback twice? Because I said we want to improve our performance. If we are getting some feedback in our first feedback session, so definitely our second feedback session will give us the output that yes, the students are satisfied and whatever the gap was there, that is covered. So for that, it is necessary to have the 2 sessions. That was when. Now where? Where means it should not be always in the traditional way, in spite of, as we have gone through open air sessions, we have enjoyed in open air sessions in spite of classroom learning. So we can take the feedback in any laboratories, or you can take the feedback outside from the classroom, so that they will also feel free to feed the feedback. They should not have the what we can say university exam type question paper, so and we are solving that in the feedback format. That should not happen. So where is necessary, that it should be somewhere outside your classroom, at least one feedback. And why? So to motivate and to improve ourselves, that is necessary. This is when, where and why that are required. Now as well as there are 3 P's that are required for receiving feedback, that is pause, prompt and praise. So the first thing is pause. Ask the students to stop working on that task and why the students is struggling with the task. So pause means what? Pause is basically for whatever students are going through, and as being the facilitator, we are nothing but the teachers who are there to support them and to escape them from that situation, that struggling that should be removed, and that is the pause case. That is the daily process in our teaching. So we have to ask the students to stop their working, and we should be connective in such a way that whatever problems they are facing, that should be solved by us. Then only we can receive the particular feedback. If we are only teaching them and we are not able to solve their problems, then that is not the perfect teaching, and for that pause should be always necessary in our teaching learning. Then that will be helpful to feedback. That means nothing but thoughtful feedback helps personal and professional growth. Then the next is prompt. Prompt means it provides a specific suggestion for improving the student's performance. Now, it deals with the student's performance. Why? Because it's not always the teacher who will be assessed. What we are doing in our college, we are doing the assessment of our students. I should not say assessment, we are doing profiling of our students, because all the students are not on the same category. Some needs to do the job, some want to be entrepreneur, some want to go to some entertainment thing. So according to that, we used to do the profiling of our students, and in that profiling, this is the profiling sheet. We used to have their name, their CGPA, what is their attitude, means their behavior, their attendance, their hobbies, their talents, suitability of placement, how they lies in between placement, they are regular or they are having any year down, etiquette, department responsibility they are carrying, and other personal things. Why? Because We cannot expect from every student that he will grab the opportunity of placement, and for that we used to categorize our students into three parts, that is A, B and C. A part contains all the bright students, B part contains the students that lies in between middle level, and C part contains the students that require a lot of attention, and being mentor, it's our responsibility to focus on every student, because these three students are having their different expectation, and for that this prompt is required that provides a specific suggestion for improving the students performance. A category is performing very well, B needs some improvements, and C needs attention. So for these three profiling purposes, we used to have the specific mentors, and there the prompt of the particular structure is required. And when we are working like this, only then we can get the thoughtful feedback which will be personal and professional for each person, each student, as well as praise for the effort. As the Carol Dweck says that to foster a growth mindset among students, we need to praise their efforts. Definitely, when we will praise our students, only then they will motivate. As we used to get motivated, the same way, the same thing is expected by our students. So these are the pause, prompt, and praise structure which we used to follow in our teaching, and only then we can have the thoughtful feedback from our student for our personal and professional growth. Now, what will be the feedback content? It should be the effective feedback, that is, focus on the work or progress. Comparison means comparison between current and desired, in between not the two teachers. Comparison between our performance only. Function, that is description and evaluation. Balance, as I said, some positive and some negative comments will be there. Clarity, student should understand the feedback, because if it is descriptive, it should be understood by him. There should not be any ambiguity. So that's why these are the effective contents of the any feedback. The feedback form, the parameters of feedback format are, as I explained earlier, I have already shared the sheet with you. But the communication skill of any teacher, ability to explain subject matter. Why? Because if I am very good in any particular subject, but if I cannot explain that subject to my student, then there is no value of my knowledge. So it is very necessary to have the feedback about our ability to explain the matter of that particular subject. Regularity and punctuality, teaching methodology, because nowadays we are going with traditional as well as ICT, so that is also important. Attitude towards students, this is the very necessary part, because we are mentor of our students. We are following the thing that behind every 15 students we are having one mentor. I am also one mentor. So as I have already shared the profiling sheet, we are having all the details of our students. We used to get we used to conduct the meetings of them in between every 15 days, apart from the feedback session. So that that bridges the gap between the student and the faculty member. So the attitude is very necessary. Overall interest created in the subject. Many times students get bored in the subject. So it is the art of a teacher, how he or she is creating the interest in the subject. Then as I already said that the direct attainment of program outcome is nothing but the student feedback, and the indirect attainment comes under the various things. So besides teaching learning, every activity done for the student, right from first year engineering up to graduation, should have purpose. Definitely, if student is learning something, there is a purpose, and all the activities should be linked with the program outcomes. So it is not the teacher, or the person should not be the teacher who should find or who should do the attainment of PO, but the students should do the attainment, and they should overcome, or they should link the program outcome. Only after that we can say it is the outcome based education nowadays. The program outcomes, that is indirect, I have already stated the direct methods. Now indirect method or indirect attainment of our program outcome related to feedback is course exit survey, program exit survey, alumni survey, placement survey, or we can say employer survey, parent survey, and rubrics developed for project and seminar. These are the indirect attainment methods of feedback and program outcomes, and direct attainment was the feedback session from the students. So the parameters of parent feedback is nothing but academic facilities, administrative facilities, activities that are conducted in our institute, sports facilities, library facilities, the internships that are provided, value added courses which is the necessary part, placement, and the help for placement means the sessions that should be conducted for placement, overall personality development of student, and overall impression. These are the parameters for parent feedback which is related to indirect attainment. Then the alumni feedback. In what way you can help to the current batch students? That is financial support for setting up enhanced laboratories or research laboratories, giving guidance and mentorship to students, delivering the expert lectures, helping to arrange the industrial visits, supporting the final year students by sharing their knowledge. Any other, please specify according to their alumni's thinking. Student exit feedback, that is when student used to have the final year in our college, we used to get the student exit feedback. That is how the infrastructure facilities were, academic environment, academic facilities, classrooms, labs, administrative facilities, how's the student section, account, TNP, quality of instruction by faculty and everything. Then the best part and the important part is rubric for project, that is project concept evaluation, then mid-term project evaluation, internal end semester project evaluation, and project report evaluation. So minor, major project as well as the seminars. The parameters related to this are also the indirect attainment of feedback. This is also one type of feedback which helps us for the indirect attainment. So the what is the impact analysis? Before that, I will share one also thing. We used to have the academic feedback, but it is necessary to collect the administrative feedback from students. So because students are not dealing with only the academicians in the college, they are also dealing with the scholarship section, the exam section, and many other things. So we used to give this feedback for administrative department, that is the name of the administrative person, the punctuality of him, responsiveness towards students, behavior with the students, the particular person is well grooming or not, and transparency to their work. Because being academician, definitely we are always punctual and we are very good to our students, but it's our responsibility to have a look that the administrative part is also helping our students or not. Is there any transparency or is any problems are there or not? So for that, student feedback for administrative department is also very necessary part. That should be at least conducted once. The academic feedback should be twice and the administrative feedback should be at least once in a semester. Now the impact analysis. As I said, the PO attainment should be done with the feedback, and the PO attainment, direct and indirect attainment should be done. Direct attainment will be from student feedback and indirect attainment will be from the various feedbacks which I have shared. And after that we used to have the analysis. Like this is the analysis and that will be shared by with our faculties. This is only the percentage, but according from this percentage we used to share with the particular faculty that these are your positive points and we appreciate it, but these are the points where you should work so that you can have the better performance in your academics. So that is also needed. That is nothing but your analysis part, and after analysis what comes is nothing but action plan. An action taken report or action plan is very necessary in everything. So whatever feedback we are getting, if students are saying that they are not having any industry exposure, then it's our duty to have the industry exposure. For that, it's our duty to arrange the industrial lectures for them. It's our duty to have some bridge course. So action taken plan or action taken report or action plan is nothing but whatever lacunas we are getting apart from our teaching. So we have to cover that lacuna by these sum of courses. That is our action plan. and only after that action plan and action taken report we can say that the feedback is very effective and there is the meaning of any feedback, because only collection of feedback is not important, or it's then that carries no values. But after collecting feedback, if we are doing and working on that and we are fulfilling our students expectation, only then the feedback is completely useful thing according to me. So thank you so much. If any queries are there, then that are welcome from my side. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I am Dr. Hema Kale. Initially, you
Yes, ma'am.
explained us about the importance of feedback. So now, suppose, for
Huh.
example, I had conducted one of the activities. Now I want to take feedback on Moodle. So what are the different ways of taking feedback on Moodle website? So that I want to know.
Okay, on Moodle website.
Yes,
Okay, so on Moodle we can have the checklist, right?
checklist. Yeah.
Parameters we can set, but now it depends on us. We want the descriptive feedback. If we want the descriptive feedback, then according to that we have to set the feedbacks, right? If it is checklist, then student will only take. We cannot expect, or we cannot know what the student's expectation is. So for that, descriptive feedback is necessary. But if you are going with Moodle, then we can have checklist as well as descriptive both.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you.